Hello everyone! During my last video I mentioned that I use a spreadsheet for my monthly budget, so I wanted to go ahead and share that with you. Let's jump right in. This is my April 2019 budget. The first thing we see here are the categories that I have broken down all of my expenses. The monthly budget is the monthly budget amount that I have allocated for each of the categories. The due date is the billing due dates, the due dates for all of my bills. Bi-weekly budget is the bi-weekly breakout of my monthly budget because I get paid every 2 weeks. Actual expenses, I will be using my March 29th paycheck to cover the first 2 weeks of April, and notes, just to write down any notes along the way. What we'll be doing today is we're going to be updating the actual amounts for my April paycheck number 1 budget. And the reason we're updating the actuals now is because I have broken up my budget in different buckets. We have a fixed expense buckets, we have variable expense buckets. The fixed expenses really shouldn't be changing much. It should not be changing on a month-to-month basis. And the variable expenses will not be changing much. I really don't expect much fluctuation there. So for the first category, we have rent. I have allocated $750 for the month. It's due on April 15th. And for the bi-weekly budget, I have allocated $375. So that should remain the same. So that should be the same as actual. The car lease is going to be $95 for the bi-weekly period. $190 for the month, due on April 19th. My cell phone bill is $90, due April 30th. $45 for this pay period. Study material is $67, due April 7th. I have saved $34 from my previous paycheck, so now I'm going to be saving $33. Medical. For my medical, I have a bill due on April 1st for $67, and I'm going to be saving $34. The gym, this comes out of my credit card. It's $10. I'm not exactly sure when it comes out, but on April 1st, I'm going to transfer $10 for this pay period 5. Netflix, $4, $8 for the month, and Hulu, $4, $8 for the month. The total actual expense and budget are the same. It's going to be $595 for my fixed expenses. The next bucket is variable expense, and these are also on autopay. I didn't mention that the other ones are on autopay, but they are. So for my variable expenses, it's $85. This is coming directly from my bank, so this amount actually won't change, but the bill itself will change. And sometimes it's because of fees and things like that, but I really want to find an internet service provider that is less expensive than this. I find this to be a little bit high. So $85 for the month, due April 15th, and that's going to be $43. I'm just going to round up. The next bill is my electric bill, which is going to be $16. I'm going to run down here, $16. Gas for my home is going to be $64 for this pay period, $127 for the month. Then we have gas for my car. For my car, I have included this under the variable auto pay because I actually received a comment in my last video from Sharon Cialosha, and I'm sorry, Sharon, if I mispronounced your last name, but the way that she does her budgets is that she uses purposes, and what she does is that she'll get a gift card for she mentioned Aldi's, if that's where she's going to do her grocery shopping, and she'll deposit the amount that she has budgeted for the month in her Aldi's gift card, and that is how she controls her spending for that particular category. So what I will be doing for my gas is that I'm going to be using my Discover debit card, because that Discover debit card I'm currently just using for miscellaneous spending, which is this category right here, $25 every 2 weeks. And the reason I do this is just to create a little bit of cushion for myself, because I'm fairly new at a strict budget like this, so I really do not want to set myself up for failure, and I want to give myself a little bit of room for error until I can really tighten my budget to the point where I feel comfortable, and what my goal is to lower this next month to $40 and the next month after that to $30 and so on. So what I will be doing is, instead of depositing $25 into my debit card, I'm going to be depositing $85, which is the 60 plus the 25. And once that debit card runs out of funds, it is declined. It will not be overdrafted, which I really appreciate that. So that's why I'm noting this. And what I'll do is here in the notes field, I'll keep track of how much I'm spending on every week on gas. And I'm actually using the Gas Buddy app to help me find the areas where the gas stations in my area with the lowest gas expense. And I'm planning my week to fit in as I'm going to and from work to stop at one of the gas stations on the way that has the lowest gas rate, and hopefully that will really help me save money on gas on a month-to-month basis or even on a week-to-week basis. So the total amount that I have allocated for my variable expenses under AutoPay is $183. The next bucket is sinking funds AutoPay. So I have set up, let's see, a few accounts in Discover for this purpose. So I have my savings account, which is $25. It will be automatically pulled out of my account on 3/29 on March 29th, and it will be moved into my Discover savings account. The next is, as I mentioned before, my miscellaneous spending. The next category is home repair. I really should be increasing this, and I will be increasing it periodically. For right now, $25 for this pay period is okay. My car insurance, $122. Car maintenance, $40. My car insurance is quite high, and it's because I got had a speeding ticket back in 2017, so that is why it's a little bit high. But I currently have a lease, and I'm thinking about getting rid of my lease, and I'm working on that hopefully between this week and next week, and so my car insurance will be significantly reduced. The total expense again for my sinking fund on AutoPay, $237, which is right in line with my budgeted amount. The next bucket is monthly debt manual payment. These are my minimum payments on my debt. So I have a water bill that I need to make minimum payments for, and that's going to be $25. Best Buy, $15. American Express, $16. Bank of America, $15. Discover, $140. My total expense for my minimum payments that I make manually, not on AutoPay, is $211. For this particular category, once I receive this paycheck, I go ahead and make the allocated bi-weekly amount that I have entered here, and I will transfer it over. I did this already using my March 15th paycheck. So when I make these payments, I will have paid my full minimum balance for April, because these are all due within the first week of April. And that's a total of $211. The total banking funds that I will need for this pay period for all the expense categories that we have discussed is going to be $1,226. Okay, so going to the variable expenses for my cash envelopes. The reason why I set up groceries, laundry, and toiletry for variable is because I'm trying to make efforts to reduce this spending, and I'm going to be, for my groceries, I'm going to go ahead and get a gift card for Stop and Shop, thanks to the wonderful tip that I received from Sharon Shilosha. Again, Sharon, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your last name, but thank you so much for that great tip. I'm going to be getting a gift card and loading a portion of the amount that I have allocated for my groceries, and leaving a little bit left for cash, just if I need to get something that's food related, that's maybe like, I don't know, if I want a cup of coffee one day and I want to go ahead and buy that, and I want to have the funds available for that. So For my groceries, I have allocated $300 for the month and $150 every 2 weeks. So what I have done here is created a little cheat sheet for the bank, and there are formulas within this spreadsheet that will tell me the denominations that I need to request when I go to the bank. So I like to get my bills from largest to smallest. So for the groceries, the way that this works is, for example, let's say that instead of $300, I decided that this pay period I want to reduce that by, for this month I want to reduce it by $10. So I can say $290. My bi-weekly budgeted amount will be reduced to $145, and now my cheat sheet will say $100 from the bank, one $100 bill, and two $20 bills. Two $20 bills and one $5 bill. So if I change this back to $300 and the amount, the biweekly is $150, now it says that I should be requesting one $100 bill and one $50 bill. So it's $150 for 2 weeks. Laundry is going to be $20. Toiletries is going to be $10, for a total of $180 for this area, for this category. The next category is the next bucket is going to be, or $180 for that bucket. So the next bucket is going to be sinking funds. I really don't expect my sinking funds to change much. So the first category is $10 for my doggies, $10 for gifts. Clothing is going to be $20, $20 for entertainment. And I really enjoy Audible, but I have decided to put that on hold for 3 months while I work through my budget, because it's about $15 a month. So I want to go ahead and cut down on that for a little bit, and then I can still re-listen to the books that I have while it's on hold. And I had 2 credits, so I downloaded 2 new books that I will be listening to on my way to and from work. The next category is $5 for home decor, and personal $10. So the total amount that I will need for my sinking funds is $75, and for the total cash that I will need is $255. And based on the amounts that I will be pulling from the bank, I have a little check here that tells me, yes, $255, and it calculates it using the denominations that I will be withdrawing. Okay, so the total amount that I will be needing to cover all of the expenses we have discussed is $1,481. And that is how much I will need to pretty much cover this 2-week period. The next category, before I go on, I'm also trying to reduce this biweekly expense, and what my goals are to try to reduce it in my variable expenses, right? So I would love to be able to reduce my electric and gas. If you would like to share how some of the tips that you're currently using to reduce your electric and heating. Right now I'm unplugging things that I know I'm not really using, and trying to make sure that at night I reduce the heat, more and more layers at home. When I leave the home, I also make sure I turn down my heat before leaving the house. If you have any tips that you want to share, please leave a comment below. I would love to hear any tips that you can share, that you would like to share to help me with my expense reduction efforts. Okay, so if we go down to the next category, it's going to be my debt. Oh, my debt. Okay, so for my debt, my first credit card is Best Buy, and I currently have $483 there. American Express, $944. My water bill, $1,127, and I take full ownership of this. I thought I set up a reoccurring payment, and then realized the payment actually wasn't going out, and I hadn't really noticed, and by the time I noticed, I had a huge bill, and I am making minimum payments on it, and eventually I will pay that bill in full. I'm including it as part of my debt, and including it in my snowballing my debt efforts. lease, because I'm getting rid of my lease, I wrote myself a note saying that I will have to put this on my American Express card or I will borrow from my emergency fund, but I don't really want to do either, so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to cover the remaining of my lease. And once I get rid of that lease, my car payments will be reduced, my insurance will be reduced, even the gas that I use will be reduced, so I want to use that saving to pay down some of this debt. The next debt category that I have is, or card that I have, is Chase, $2,800 on that. Bank of America, $3,349, and Discover, $9,500 for a total of $19,703. I haven't really budgeted anything here, but any extra money that I have left over after meeting my expenses that I've listed above, I will be using to tackle down my debt, and I will be providing you updates as to how my snowball efforts are going, snowballing off my debt efforts are going, I guess. And that pretty much covers my spreadsheet for my budget. Thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate you taking the time to go through this with me. I know a spreadsheet isn't very exciting, so thank you very much. Please leave a message, like, and subscribe, and have a great rest of the day or night. Depends on what time you're watching this. Thank you again. Bye.